Welcome back, rankers. Big week last week for Google. They announced the Google Search Consoles coming out of beta. Unfortunately, we're going to lose some stuff that we have in the old Google Search Console by the looks of it, because it's simply not in the new one. And one of the key things I've always loved about the old Google Search Console was the crawl stats area, because it gives us so much information. I've learned a lot from that, but it looks like they're going to get rid of it, which is a shame. That's Google though. But I just wanted to show you the sorts of things I look at crawl stats for. And this is something that I get asked a lot, and that is, which e-commerce system should I go with? And you know, that's a how long's a piece of string type of question, because with every business, there are different needs and requirements, and there's some different costs that you have to take into account. So when you're looking at e-commerce, you've got to consider, obviously, are you on other marketplaces? Are you on eBay? Are you on Amazon? How's your inventory and everything going to connect to all those things? And so most retailers are looking for platforms that will talk to those other systems. And I just want to touch on a few of them today. But the thing to remember when you are choosing a platform, that every one of them has different benefits and pluses and minuses depending on what you want to achieve. So if someone came to me today and said, hey, I need an e-commerce site, there's a couple of things I'd want to know first. A, do you have a budget to build a site? If you don't have a budget to build a site, then you might, and you just want to test something, you might be better off just using a Shopify $30 a month plan or something like that, if you just want to test something out. If you've got a budget and it's a business, an existing business, and it needs to be online and selling a lot of stuff, then usually would recommend Magento, right? But Magento is probably, as we say over here, the duck's nuts when it comes to e-commerce systems, because it just, for our perspective, allows us to do all the SEO stuff that we need, all the user experience stuff that we need to do. We can do it quite easily. Hosted systems, which is your Nidos, your Shopifys, your BigCommerce, those sorts of systems, they will be a lot easier for the user to set up, a lot less risk, a lot less cost to set up, but you are actually on their platform. So that means that if you want to move your shop somewhere, you don't like their hosting, or you don't want to be Shopify anymore, or you don't want to be Nido or whatever, then you actually have to rebuild your site. It's not like you can just pick up that site and move it somewhere else. It doesn't work that way. You're actually on their platform, right? So there's that. And then your different costs associated with, you know, a Magento site's always going to be far more expensive and far more of an investment up front than some of these hosted systems. The hosted systems, typically you're paying more longer term than what you would if you say you set up a site to begin with. But it's a lower cost, lower risk way of getting in, but just keep in mind that longer term, you probably are going to be paying more than if you had a Magento site, unless your Magento site's horrible and needs a lot of work all the time. Here are some of the downsides to some of the, or not downsides, but just a quick comparison using crawl stats. So what we have here is, I've just taken the crawl stats data out of two retailers that are sitting on Neato. And the thing that I don't like about Neato the most is that it has really, really slow page load times. And spoken to them about this, we've told them about this, their customers are telling them about this. They keep saying it's getting faster. From our perspective, we're just not seeing it. So when you're talking over 2 seconds for the Google bot to load a page, that's a lot of money you're leaving on the table right there, right? So that's going to affect your conversions. We know that if a page takes 3 seconds to load, we've lost most of our customers, right? So we're already at 2.5. So what's that doing to our conversions? So we're not even talking about people who don't make it to the site, but what about the people that do and aren't there and won't convert because of those speeds? So For us, that's one of the main downsides to Neato. There's some other really clunky things that if you're transferring to Neato, you've got to be aware of, like .htaccess, speak to your developer about that, sorts of things that are going to hamper you in your transition to Neato. The platform that seems to be gaining a lot of momentum in the last 12 months is Shopify. They seem to have overtaken, certainly, I'll check that in Google Trends in a moment, but they seem to be bigger than BigCommerce now. And I'm hearing actually of people moving from Magento to Shopify, which for me is not great because, once again, Shopify, it is restrictive because it is a hosted system. There are things you can and can't do that you can just do everything on Magento. However, there's some other benefits, like you look at that speed compared to Neato, for instance, and you're talking, and this is just one site, but you can see there back in, what was that, end of August, it was down at 472. This particular site's got a bit slower. I haven't checked that across other Shopify sites, but that is a bit high for Shopify, 889 milliseconds. Usually we would see it sub 500 milliseconds. It's just this month it seems to be getting a little slow. And the final one is BigCommerce. Now, it's interesting, the marketing between BigCommerce and Shopify. They always seem to be having a go at one another, and in their emails and their tweets and those sorts of things. But you can see there, BigCommerce, as far as the sites that we look at anyway, it is always sub 500 milliseconds page load time for the Google bot. I'll just quickly have a look. Let's have a look and see if we... Oh, by the way, someone asked also, what's the average cost of building a site, say, on Shopify or BigCommerce? Look, it's a lot cheaper than, say, doing something on Magento or a standalone website, typically. But you've got to find people that specialise in those platforms. The other thing to be aware of as well is that if you are moving to these platforms, do they support all the things that you want supported? Like we've got a client at the moment who is on a custom e-commerce platform and they can't use Afterpay, right? So there's those things to consider as well. But let's just have a look at trends. Wow, look at that. Okay, so there's some decisions to make as well. Now, BigCommerce is an Australian company, but their visibility is stagnant. It's not growing at all. Wow, and you look at Shopify and you just go, let's have a look, let's go further back. Yeah. Anyway, so there's some things to consider. So you look at that. This is when we were talking to BigCommerce when they launched and they went into the site, into the US. A lot of hoo-ha back then in 2013 about them, and then, yeah, a bit of a drop. And look at Shopify grow. So if you're making a business decision, well, actually, let's just put Neato in there. Let's do it properly, and we'll put Magento in there as well. Wow, it looks like Neato is actually more popular than BigCommerce now. That surprises me. I did not know that. And Magento. Because all of this indicates how much support there is out there, how much, what sort of developer community is out there. Wow. Look at that crossover point. That. Whew. Now, there's a few things happening. Magento has actually just recently been acquired by Adobe. Yeah, Adobe. So it'd be interesting to see what they're going to do with it. They no longer have Business Catalyst, or they're getting rid of that. So we'll see. And yeah, Business Catalyst is another platform which I haven't even mentioned. And that is it for this week's show. Hopefully that's helpful. If you've got any questions about e-commerce, there's so many other things we could have delved into today. But if you have any specific questions, just throw them in the comments. Wherever you're watching this, whether you're on Smart Company, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever you're watching, just leave a comment and I will get back to you. Thanks very much, everyone. See you next week.